Welcome back. This is the third episode of the Painted Privacy video series, and I'm the artificial avatar of Luca Bolognini, European data lawyer and essayist. Today, you'll find me surrounded by works of art, almost besieged. In this episode, we'll talk about light-hearted things and serious matters, like dressing up, showing off, blending in, and then we'll go back to being children a little. We're approaching Halloween, a time of macabre masks. I admit, I prefer the cheerful masks and costumes of Carnival. Every year, during Carnival, I give in to the temptation to spend a few days in Venice, where I've dedicated an entire house to privacy and data protection. Privacy in Venice, your apartment to be let alone. In one of the rooms painted on the wall behind the four-poster bed are some excerpts from my 2018 pamphlet, AI Artificial Insanity. Then there are masks. A mask does not grant anonymity, but it does allow you to go incognito. Going incognito can also imply anonymity if the observer does not have the wherewithal to reasonably figure out who is wearing the mask. Yet, a mask is one of the most personal things there can be, in theory at least. Underneath there is always someone. The very etymology of persona recalls the sound, sona, that passed through per, the actor's mask in ancient theatre. There are masks that, by covering the person's somatic traits, allow them to go incognito by exalting differences. Think of the Rio Carnival, where each costume overemphasizes the unique and creative character of the individual wearing it. Then there are masks that, conversely, provide camouflage by blending in and making everyone the same as everyone else. Think of the Venice Carnival, with the bauta, a black cloak with a hood that masks the face, the moretta, black velvet mute mask, or dotter peste, the plague doctor mask, which obliterate individual features, submerging identities in the dead, calm, and compliant waters of a lagoon of indistinguishable souls. But what if it wasn't a human being underneath the mask? What if it was a robot wearing the bota? This is what I wrote in Artificial Insanity, and this is painted on the wall of privacy in Venice. That's right, a mask can single out one person from among thousands, or, on the contrary, it can conceal every individual trait, as happens in the backstreets and canals of Venice, guaranteeing privacy in public. We hide by putting ourselves on show, and we put ourselves on show by hiding. We use masks and disguises to blend in. Incidentally, the image you find in the right corner of this video is the creation of the talented Giandomenico Tiepolo and depicts a carnival ball. What I have always loved about Tiepolo, son of Giambattista, is his use of characters with their backs turned. They are the ones with the best and most mysterious disguises. Keep an eye out for them. You feel the urge to call out to them, to tap their shoulder, to get them to turn around so you can finally look them in the face. But you cannot. It is common knowledge that the Tiepolo family were devoted to painting Pulcinella, with all the popular symbolism he embodies, resigned but smiling, ironic, making fun of the powerful and the irrational nature of history. Giandomenico even illustrated a book for children with stories about the life of Pulcinella, Divertimento per li ragazzi, completed between the late 17th century and 1804, the year of his death. What is striking about these stories is that there is not just one Pulcinella. There are many Tiepolesque Pulcinelli, some real, some fake, who even end up shooting him. Children or adults, male or female, real masks, fake masks, good masks, bad masks, all the same, seemingly blending in. Pulcinella dies and is reborn continuously in his adventures, like in a blog, a piece of data, a reputation, an electronic copy, a comical NFT, or a digital identity of our times. Let's now try to return to childhood for a few minutes with the naivety of Edward Henry Pothast, an American impressionist who lived between the 19th and 20th centuries, and of the girls he portrayed in the painting you can find in the other corner of this video. Such yearning to recapture childlike spontaneity, to make sense of and shield ourselves from dark times, fears, losses, distance, and violence. Now, about childhood, I will share two fun facts that I owe to my daughter Bianca, who painted the picture on the front cover of my book, The Art of Privacy, the one you find at the top right in this video. The first is about the picture itself and what it represents. It looks intensely and joyfully bright and cheerful to you, I suppose. In my case, it made me feel instantly light-hearted the moment it was placed in my hands by the proud young artist. At the time, I was on the lookout for contemporary artworks, not bound by copyright for my book cover. I chose it right away for its striking colors and enthusiastically sent it off to my publisher. My choice was subjective, impulsive, and ignorant, because I never stopped to ask my daughter what that image represented. It was only months later, when the book had already been published, that the subject came up, almost by chance. I asked her what the painting depicted, expecting an amusing, happy-go-lucky response suited to her 7 years. The artist fixed me with a solemn stare and said, "That figure in the middle, the black one with the round head, is the child who is afraid. There are fears floating above as well, like clouds, and at the bottom those are the bars of the prison cell." I confess that I felt more of a child than she was. I had had no inkling at all, but on closer inspection it was quite clear that painting was and is closer to the expressionism of Munch than to contemporary abstract art, and I had not seen it. Did you pick up on it? Would an algorithm have figured it out? Would it have interpreted those black splodges, giving them more importance than the jazzy rainbow of fluorescent colors? Maybe. The second fun fact is that the painting in question was no more. It was probably lost. As soon as it had been scanned, the artist reclaimed it and either hid or destroyed it. Either way, the physical object was nowhere to be found. When gently interrogated, the artist claimed not to remember. All this appeared mysterious, frustrating, and farcical, but it leads us today to a legal question. Did that work of art still exist? It was printed on the cover of a book. It appeared in electronic form on the internet, but did it still exist as a real object deserving of legal protection? Could we consider that high-res file, that first digital transformation of the painting, as an original in its own right? Maybe, I told myself, coming down somewhere between legal reasoning and self-consolation, I imagined I could turn it into an NFT at this point. As you can see, these two domestic anecdotes bring us face to face with cutting-edge questions of general interest. One about whether artificial intelligence systems are capable of emotional and sentimental understanding, also understanding jokes or sadness. The other about the legal value of a digital twins when the physical object disappears. I conclude this episode, which began with playful masks and ended with disappearances, with the image you see at the top left in this video. It's a detail from a Klimt painting dedicated to jurisprudence, created for the ceilings of the University of Vienna. It no longer exists, at least physically, and sadly, not as a joke. It was destroyed, along with several other masterpieces by the Austrian symbolist, in the fire set by the Nazi SS in 1945. Heartbreaking. Thanks for following this third episode of Painted Law, and see you next time with Luca Bolognini's artificial avatar.